One thing to consider about other people during this strange and exciting time coming up right after this. Good afternoon, this is Lucky Links. It was probably a weird intro to say this is an exciting time, but it kind of is. There's a lot of excitement in the air, a lot of anxiety in the air, a lot of strangeness in the air, a lot of people wondering what's going to happen. There's something that actually came to mind, and it's kind of unusual and it's kind of strange, but I'm going to tell it anyway. When I was a kid, and by the way, I don't recommend this. Well, let me just say that I was raised in. I went to private school that was very, very rigid, and I was sort of raised in a very rigid environment. And when I got older and I got to get out on my own, so like, late teens, college, I was really fascinated by lots of different kinds of people. And living in Chicago like I did, there was access to lots of different kinds of people and lots of different experiences. And back then, I didn't really like the idea of having a car because I could get anywhere I wanted to go in public transportation in 10 minutes in the city. And cars always seemed to make everything harder. You spent an hour trying to park, and it was, crazy. So I walked a lot, and I took a lot of public transportation. And I'm going to say I hitchhiked a lot when I was a kid. A lot. I got into a lot of cars with a lot of strangers. And I got to say there was a great deal of trust that was going on back then. And fortunately for me, everything always worked out well. But there was a strange phenomenon that started to happen that I noticed that I think comes into play now that people should consider as everything's going weird. I started to notice this strange thing happening. Once I started actually hitchhiking, and a friend of mine, we did it once as a joke. We were like, hey, and someone stopped, and then it started to become this thing. Well, anyway, I started to notice that when I was walking in the city, and I was extremely calm, and I was very curious, and I was very excited, about meeting different kinds of people and everything. Strangest phenomena started to happen. I'd be in a situation where either I couldn't get a bus, or there were no cabs or anything, and people would pull over and say, "Do you want to ride?" Strangers. They would pull over and say, "Do you want to ride?" And I would say, "Yes, thank you," and I'd get a ride. And I'd meet someone new, and I'd talk to them, and have a new experience. And I noticed that happened when I was calm. And I was in a place where I was open. But in situations where I was anxious or worried about something, or I was running late for something, nothing ever worked. I couldn't get any help, couldn't get any assistant, couldn't get what I needed, couldn't get where I needed to go, and things got a lot harder. And something seemed to be telling me way back then. It's like when I was open and when I was sort of relaxed and when I was sort of calm, people wanted to help me. And it was a very interesting experience. And something else happened like that as well. I was in a situation where one time I did drive. I was actually in my mother's car, and it stopped. And I was terrified. I'm like, oh my God, is this her car? What am I going to do? This thing's... I was pulled over to the side of the road, and I had no idea what was going on. I mean, I was really young. I was still a kid. I mean, and I pulled over on the side of the road, and there was something on the horizon that I also used to always focus on in that neighborhood that always made me calm, and I was right by it. And I was sort of freaking out, and I didn't know what was going to happen. And when I focused on that thing and I got calm, the strangest thing happened. Someone pulled over. He was a mechanic. He was just off of work. He saw me on the side of the road, and I just pulled over on the side of the road. I wasn't in the middle of the road or anything, so he could have passed right past me. But he saw me. He realized what was going on. He got out of his car. He didn't really even say much. He told me to pop the hood. He looked inside. He did something. I don't know. To this day, I don't know what he did. The car started. He drove away. I never saw him again. I went from a place of anxiety and worry about, oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm stranded here. What am I going to do? I didn't know what to do. I didn't really want to get anyone else involved. I didn't want the person whose car it was to know that there was because it would have caused a whole lot of problem. I got calm and someone showed up. One of the things that I'm noticing right now is that there is becoming an environment where people are becoming suspicious of each other. They're closing down to each other and they're starting to blame each other. And you see it when you go out to get groceries. You see it when you see it on social media. There's a strange environment with, and that's just not everyone, but there's a great many people who are starting to get suspicious of and starting to get angry and starting to blame other people. And I will tell you, in those situations when I was a kid, if I was walking around angry and blaming, no one pulled over to give me a ride. And what I'm going to suggest to you guys right now is if you're struggling and if you're in a strange place and if you're in a difficult position, starting to blame people, starting to get angry, starting to put out a ferocious, angry, blaming tone, attitude, perspective, no one's going to pull over and give you a ride when you need help. This is a time, I think, where every single one of us on the planet has to say, what role have I played in what is currently happening? And what is the larger picture at work? Now, I've hinted at the other videos, and I've told you the Tibetan Bond perspective that we are entering a time of purification where habits that cause suffering, habits that cause pain, habits that cause people from seeing what they really are and why they're here are being purified. And that's really, that is really my take on it as well. I have every reason after all the years all the years of study and being a student of His Holiness Padma Gampo Rinpoche and involved in Tibetan Bond, I have every reason to see that this is what's going on. On the other side of things, while people are adopting a get angry, F you, stand back, stay away from me, you may find yourself in a position where you really need help. And if your attitude is stay back or I'll mace you, no one's going to give you a ride when you need it. I'm Lucky Links, as always, wishing you good luck, success, good fortune, and all that you do, especially during this very difficult time. If you guys would like to get a reading from me, 7793028009, I'll tell you what's going on with the Tibetan gods say, what is being purified, what habits are currently being purified that are standing in your way. We can do tarot. We can do something bigger. If you guys want to know why you're here actually at this time, I suggest doing your Tibetan Bond astrology and or cosmology. Cosmology is a much bigger picture. It takes 30 days to do that, just to do that one chart. But if you're interested in doing that, contact me, 7793028009 or conjurehope@gmail.com. Hey, I got, where's my playing cards? I got playing cards. I got an advanced playing card class starting here in next couple days. I'm looking at the best astrological day to start the class. We still haven't started it yet. My students are waiting. Thank you guys for being patient. But if you want to take the advanced playing card class or a class on how to read Mexican Loteria, how to read the tarot, basic and advanced, how to read Lenormand, basic and Grand Tableau, or how to scribe with crystal balls, or the playing card basic or the advanced class, contact me. I'll tell you how to do it, okay? So I've been really busy, yes, but yes, I am still taking clients. I am still taking charts. I have a huge waiting list for people getting charts, but I mean, there is a very special time and this is a very special time, and there's a very special reason why you're here at this time, I swear. And if you want to know more about that and get your chart done, contact me, okay? So you guys, remember, if you're walking down the street angry, or if you're sitting in your house angry, and you're telling people, keep away, they just may do that right when you need them.